Well, it's definitely quite a difference from then to now, huh? Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. So today we're going to be talking about YouTube background sets, why it's important, tips to get you started, and some things to make your set even better. So before diving into it, I want to just mention a big thank you to each and every one of you guys that watch this channel and have hit that subscribe button. Super excited to announce that we passed 5,000 subscribers, and because of that milestone, we're going to be giving away a Feiyu Pocket. So if you want a chance to win this guy, stick around to the very end to see how you can enter. And before getting into the tips, you might be asking yourself, like, well, why does it matter? What does it matter what like the background of my videos look like? Isn't it just like getting out the information and that's it? Isn't that the most important part? Yes, the information is the most important part, but you have to think about how important your representation is to you and your viewers. For example, this channel, I'm trying to build a community with photo and video tutorials, so I want it to come across as professional as possible. So this set, I spend a lot of time to get the lighting correct, the background how I want it now, and just all of my filmmaking knowledge to make it as presentable as possible so it comes across like that to the viewer, so they understand that I'm putting a lot of effort into these videos. So tip number one is make it about you and what your channel is about. So for example, let's take a look at this set. I'm a photographer and a video creator, you guys know that, but if you're new to this channel, you would probably think, well, look, there's a pretty cool photo print there. He's got some gear up here. He's got a drone, a couple of lenses, another camera, and then some old vintage camera stuff. So probably some sort of digital creator, and that's exactly right. I want you to get an idea of what this channel is about simply by looking at my background while also being aesthetically good and pleasing to, the image you're gonna look at the whole time. So if you're an editor, it would probably be really good for you to film your videos at your editing desk setup. And if you're making a channel about, say, food, maybe a food channel, then you're probably not gonna do it in this setting. You'd wanna do it in a kitchen with a nice backdrop set up there. Not only does it fit with what you're talking about, but it helps connect the viewer, putting them in that space, in that environment, so the information flows more accurately that way. If I was talking about food and recipes and like making meals right here, it'd be kind of weird. It wouldn't really fit right. It'd be just out of context. But it makes sense if I'm reviewing some camera gear because I'm in my office, studio setup meant for this stuff. So if you think about it in that perspective, it'll definitely give you a better direction on where to start. And then here's a bonus tip. Set up your background somewhere where you can have it permanently. This room here in my house is another bedroom, but I've set it up as an office space, a permanent space for me to be able to do my work and only do that stuff in this room. So this backdrop can stay like this. I can continually add to it, see what I can do to make it better. And that way, when I start to make these videos, it's much easier to get started because I don't have to set things up. All I have to do is put the camera on the tripod, turn on the light, make sure my settings are dialed in, and just start recording. And if you're new to YouTube, there's definitely something daunting about constantly making videos where there's just like this nervous feeling that you might get, and then the more you have to do and set up, the more chances you have of just not starting or not doing that video. So the easier you can make on yourself to just put the camera on, hit record, the easier it's gonna be for you to make these videos. So if we look back at some of my old videos when I first started this channel back in 2017, I didn't really know much about video and think about these things. And so a lot of my videos were just filmed in random spots with no set background or any consistency to them. And so sometimes I was living in an apartment, so it was filmed in the living room, it was filmed in the bedroom, it was just filmed in different angles, just things that didn't really make sense, especially because I was talking about photography and photo editing and things like that. And the problem with that is it's never gonna let your viewers be connected to your stuff, and it's just gonna be kind of disorienting to your viewers if they're in a random place that doesn't make sense watching your videos. And then it also led to not making videos consistently, which was a huge problem for me in the beginning, and probably why it's taken me so long to get to 5,000 subscribers, because up to like a year and a half ago or so is when I really started doing these consistently, having consistent sets, constantly making them better, and that makes it easier to make them, especially like I mentioned, that this is now permanently set. So So now that you have an idea of what you want in your background, based off whatever your channel is going to be about, you're going to start putting things together. Well, how do you set it up in regards to you, yourself, the subject? One big tip is to place depth between you and the background. And I don't mean just depth of field with your lens, but I mean physically make yourself as distanced as possible from the background to give yourself more separation so you pop off of it. So in this case, this background is on the back wall of my room. Now, this isn't the longest part of my room, but it's the only part that makes sense. I have it at least set to where this is at the other side of the room, and then the set is on the other side of the room, just so there's natural separation between me and the background where I don't have to completely stop down my lens just to get that blurry effect. I can film at 2.8 or f4 and I'm still gonna have some natural separation from it. Because think about it, if my desk was pushed all the way back and the background and my shelves were like right behind me, it would just be really messy and like probably distracting. And so I have natural separation where it just is like, obviously I'm the focal point and then the backdrop is nicely behind me through a natural depth of separation. So again, if we look back at my old videos, I didn't think about any of those things. I would just sit on the couch, I would sit next to a wall, just wherever there was a window light in these rooms, because that I at least knew to get some light on my face, but it definitely didn't work as far as like the background being like where it should be, again, because it was in a random place and it was just on the couch, so the wall was right there. There was no separation from the background, and so those definitely didn't look good. And so, man, when I look back at those, you have to start somewhere, but I wish I took the time to learn some of these things, and so hopefully this video can help you if you're starting out. Okay, so moving on to tip number 3. Now that you have some sort of direction based on your channel and you've put some depth between you in this room, what do you do next? Well, tip number 3 is you don't want to make it too busy. Less is more. Some of my favorite YouTubers simply use like a gray backdrop or just some studio backdrop, like a paper roll, and they sit right there and you can see a little bit out of the frame and it looks great. While on the other hand, I've seen other people do really busy backgrounds with a whole bunch of lights and just, a lot of bokeh effects, and it kind of looks cool, but the thing is it looks distracting to the viewer. Like I found myself just like kind of looking at around in the background and I'm like, man, this is a lot of stuff, and I wasn't paying attention to the person talking, giving the information, so that's already not good for your channel. So only put the things that you really need to show. For example, like I really need this shelf there. It just works for my background, but I really need to put my gear there. But all of my other gear that's not necessary is tucked away in a closet. That's just, it wouldn't be aesthetically pleasing, and it's just not necessary to be in the background. So I try and make it clean by just having a shelf with like my best gear and the gear that I use all the time. Kind of this futon because I actually like when people sit here if they come into the room, and then one of my favorite prints from Hawaii just to show that, I'm a photographer, and that's pretty much it. So again, looking back at my old videos, not only did I just do them in random places, didn't have a consistent set, no natural depth, but sometimes they were even messy. I didn't even realize that you can see like into like my kitchen or other parts of the living room, and sometimes I had just a messy background, and that's already a representation of you and your videos. Again, I want to come across as professional as possible while keeping the viewer engaged with the information I'm delivering, and if I can do that in a nice, professional, clean setting, it's going to be better off for the viewer. Tip number 4 is use composition. So if you're a photographer or videographer, use the basics of photography and filmmaking to make your set and these videos. For example, if I'm talking to the camera, I'm always gonna place myself right in the center. But how high up or how low do you put yourself in the frame? Do you do it like this? Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. That would be really weird. But it also wouldn't be good if I was just constantly like cutting off my head also like that, but I am in the center. So where do you place, how high do you go? And so you can use the rule of thirds and place your face or your eye level on that third line right here. And that is a really good perspective to put your subject for any talking head scenes. That's what I do that for just any professional videos I make, like interviews and things like that. And along with these videos, it's perfect for that. So now if I'm gonna do something else, like I'm gonna show you like some editing and I'm gonna be on my computer, then I might go like this, where I might be on a third of this side and then the computer might be on the other third, just to make it more interesting, because I'm also bringing in a new subject into the video. So this would work also. And then you can also use your composition to strategically place things around you that kind of lead the viewer to you, the subject. So think about what's in the foreground, what's above you, what's on the left, the right, anything. So in this scene, I have the shelf right next to me, and then I have the futon right there along with the print. And I'm right in the center, so it's kind of like drawing you in. Now, I do wish I had more kind of like leading lines. I kind of get some from like the window right here that kind of like hopefully lead to me. But even with the shelf, I guess I have some, like it kind of leads you to me, so that helps. But placing things around you to where it's just kind of like, again, making you pop along with the depth between you and the background is going to make it easier for your viewer to just watch your videos. And here's another bonus tip regarding for YouTube specifically. Don't put yourself in the frame where you don't have any room to crop in, because if you make a mistake, like I do constantly, I'm gonna crop in either by like 5% or 10% in editing, just so when I piece those two together, like the correct part and cutting out the part that I messed up on, it's a little bit more seamless for you guys, and hopefully it kind of goes unnoticed versus like, oh, he made a mistake and now he just pieced two sentences together and it didn't flow very well. So if you crop in, it kind of hides it a little bit, and you can take it a step further by adding a second camera to where you can jump between those two cameras if you make mistakes, like you would in an interview. Okay, and finally, tip number 5 is use lighting. I can't stress this enough, especially because when I first started out, I didn't know anything about lighting. I honestly started my channel to learn video, and kind of not the smartest thing to do, but at the same time, if we look back to where I first started to now, there's obviously a great room of improvement that has happened, and that's great because I've learned a lot of things along the way. But using lighting can honestly make the visual experience for your viewers like drastic. So I'm gonna plug a video about lighting where I compare my Aperture 120D to a ring light and to using no lighting, because here, real quick, just for this set, let me show you if I turn this off and put my overhead light on. So this would be my scene if I was just using my fan light right now. So the room light of this room is just like not great, and so you can see that my face is dark. There's like, it just wouldn't be a pleasing image to look at the whole time, even if I was delivering good information. Now we have a really nice visual for you to look at that looks a lot better than if I was using my overhead room lighting. And even though I'm using a professional video light like this 120D that now runs, I think only $550. I think it recently dropped in price plus the softbox, so another like, you know, $100. You can get really great results with a really cheaper alternative. I know Godox makes some really good lighting, and you can even use a ring light like I did in that video, and I made my videos like that for a long time, and that's honestly a much better step up than not using light. So once you have your background set up, you can use lighting to just make a drastically more difference. Kind of like this one right here is a nice accent for the shelf. Then I have just a little, this is kind of hard to do on my monitor. Then I have a little one right here, and then I have another light off camera right over there that's kind of filling in this space, because otherwise this would be super dark, because this is the only light source on in the room. I have my window closed because if it goes from like sunny to cloudy, it's gonna fluctuate and you'll notice that, and it won't look really good. So that's pretty much it, guys. That is pretty much my approach on how I would build a YouTube set. And like I said, you can use a lot of these tips even for just regular, you know, corporate videos or anything like that, because the background of your videos, any type of video, is really important. And it's also one of the exciting things about YouTube, because like I said, it's a representation of yourself. You always want to make it better. You always want to just add and tweak it. And now that it's kind of to like, you know, I'm really happy with it, I'm always gonna now try and accent little things. What can I do to make it a little bit better, to pop a little bit more, to be more visually entertaining and like pleasing to the viewer, things like that. So it's always just gonna be one of those things that I can modify, just like an ongoing project, and I really like to do that as well. Okay guys, so now for the giveaway. This is the Feiyu Pocket that we're gonna be giving away for reaching 5,000 subscribers. I think we're almost at 5,300, so it's awesome that this channel is growing every day. And I honestly love doing this so much. Like, I don't think I've honestly mentioned how much I love to do this, and hopefully I get to do this full time one day, because it's really awesome just getting to teach, make videos about the things that I love, which is photography, videography, editing, and all of those good things. And so I really appreciate all of you guys sincerely so much. I really appreciate all the support, and just thank you. So now, I want this Feiyu Pocket to go into the hands of somebody that really wants it. So if you want to enter to win this Feiyu Pocket, all you have to do is comment below why you want this Feiyu Pocket, what you're going to do with it. Is it for your channel? Is it for vlogging every day? I'd love to hear about it. And make sure you're subscribed to the channel. I'm going to announce the winner of the giveaway a month after the video has been posted, just to give some time for any of you guys that check it out later on. But let me know below, and I'm excited to give this away, and again, thanks so much. So that's pretty much it, guys. Leave a like if you enjoyed, comment down your thoughts, subscribe if you haven't already. I'll see you guys in the next one. See ya.